Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Graz, and this little green character you have here is Grimtalk, and this is the Elemental Shaman video. Now, you usually don't see a lot of Elemental Shaman. People like to go Enhancement or they go Resto, but Elemental is actually a fun spec once you give it a chance and you try it out. I tend to like it myself. Now, in this video I'm going to explain how it works and the rotation, as well as some other helpful hints to give you an idea of how to play the spec. First and foremost, this instance we ran was part of the Midsummer Festival event, so that's why it may look a little different from what some might have seen before. But first and foremost, I'm going to dive right into the spec. And what you have here is basically my spec. Now, there are different variations. Check the links below to find what may or may not work for you, and give a look around. Now, we'll talk about glyphs. There are a few glyphs you're definitely going to want to have. First and foremost will be the prime glyph, Glyph of Lava Burst. Now, that's going to increase your damage 10%, and I'll explain the importance of Lava Burst later on down the road with Flame Shock. Another good glyph will be the Glyph of Flame Shock, but that wasn't what I was talking about. But you'll definitely want to have it as it increases the longevity by a few seconds. And a major glyph, which is really a good glyph to have, is the Glyph of Lightning Shield. Now, the Glyph of Lightning Shield isn't going to let your Lightning Shield go by a count of 3. That is definitely a must, as that is going to find a way to work itself into your rotation. Now, don't mind me standing in the ice blocks. It was a bit of a pain in the ass, and yet don't follow my example in that part. But these are just some of the glyphs you're going to want to pick up. Check the links below. You may find some glyphs that may work for you. I'm not going to give you a full set of 9, just a couple that you will definitely want. Now, the rotation. The rotation is pretty clear cut. It's a little dynamic depending upon what procs or what doesn't, but basically just keep an eye out for one thing: Flame Shock. You're going to start your rotation off with Flame Shock. You're going to make sure it stays up. Now, whether you have a dot tracker or you use tidy bars, always keep in mind where your Flame Shock is at. The reason being is this: after you use Flame Shock, you're going to go right into Lava Burst. The importance of Flame Shock is this: as long as Flame Shock is up, Lava Burst is going to crit. Always crit. So yes, indeed, you're going to want to have Flame Shock up whenever you use Lava Burst. Do not use Lava Burst when Flame Shock is down. It is basically a DPS loss, but basically you're going to want it up at all times. This goes into another situation. You should have a talent called Fulmation. Now, this is how it works. Every time you use your Lightning Bolt ability, you have a chance to stack an extra Lightning Shield. When you hit 9 stacks of Lightning Shield, you can use Earth Shock, which is going to unleash a pretty strong attack. So definitely keep an eye on that. I do believe a stack of 9 will be a Blizzard proc. You will see a little animation come up. You're going to have to juggle your cooldowns between Earth Shock and Flame Shock. I put more priority on Flame Shock, so definitely be mindful of the time frame where it becomes available and where Flame Shock is currently at. Now into the heart of the rotation. This is it. You start off with Flame Shock. You go into a Lava Burst. After that, you are going to spam Lightning Bolt. It should only stop when you have to recast Lava Burst, Flame Shock, or Earth Shock. This is a part where Power Aura or some other tracking program will be good to let you know when your lava burst comes up off a proc, as lava burst does account for a lot, if not most, of our damage. For totems, your biggest one is going to be fire. This is where you get a lot of your damage at too, through buffs. Now, flame tongue isn't so much good for you as it is for every other caster in the group. This really depends on the situation. Searing Totem will give you more of a DPS boost as it's part of your damage. Flame Tongue does not stack with you, but it gives everybody else spell power increase. That all depends on group utilization. Now, as for the Earth Totem, I usually use the Stone Skin Totem, as it gives you extra defense against damage. Some would use Strength of Earth Totem, that would give certain melee classes extra boost in damage. But from a personal point, I would really recommend the Stone Skin, especially for your tank. It would really give him a hand. Now, as for the water and air glyphs, I'll leave them up for you. They are pretty much for utilization, depending upon whether you solo, you're raiding, or you're doing a 5-man dungeon group. That's up to preference and how things are. You might want Healing Stream Totem to give your healer a hand. You might want Mana Spring Totem to give extra mana for casters and yourself. It's really up to utilization and who you might not have in your group. So that's a little bit of a comfort factor right there in itself. Two things you at least want up at all times. Definitely Lightning Shield, very big, whether it be for offense or defensive abilities. And Flame Tongue Weapon. Now, Flame Tongue Weapon is going to give your spells a bit of an increase. So, yeah, that's something you may also want to keep on a timer and make sure it's up at all times. Very important for damage increase. Now, going back to the part on the totems, generally you want to run in and place your totems and kind of back off a bit. You wouldn't want to place your totems, especially if you are using Searing Totem, far back to the point where it's not going to cast off. So you definitely want to come in a bit closer to the enemies and make sure you drop all your totems. And by the way, no, you don't have to click all 4 of them. There's actually abilities that let you drop them all at one time. You'll want to come in, drop your totems, and then bounce back and fade into the background a little bit. There's no need for you to hang up top. If the totems happen to get wiped out, just simply come back and place them again. But yeah, you're a caster, hang in the background. There's no need for you to be at the front line. Now, stats you'll be looking for, first and foremost, of course, would be Intellect. There, once again, is your damage, as in all casters. Intellect is a big must-have. Next would be your hit. Get it to 17% hit cap. Now, this is the interesting about Shaman. In our elemental tree, one of the skills we are going to take is called Elemental Precision. We can actually use Spirit to help boost our hit. Now, when in a 5-man group or a raid, you can roll on Spirit Mail, but if you have a Resto Shaman in the group, and that's an upgrade for the other Resto Shaman, it would be a good idea to let them have that. It's the right thing to do. Now, I usually pass on it if they need it. If not, I'll go on it. It's really up to you and how you feel about the player. But basically, that's going to be a stat that Elemental and Resto are pretty much going to share. So, yeah, that might be a little hot topic right there. But on the other hand, it would make switching specs a whole lot easier. Now, after Intellect and Hit, basically Haste and Mastery are going to share the third spot. And that's basically because they are both equally important. Haste is going to increase your DPS, and Mastery as well is going to increase your DPS. I would recommend looking around for that. I can't really suggest one or the other. It all depends on your gear. The higher you are, it might be a little bit safer to drop some haste for some mastery. Then again, depending upon what you already have, it's really tough to make that call. So yeah, if you're unsure, look around. I can recommend some good links to you. Just check down below to get an idea. Well, this has been a brief overview of Elemental Shaman. Hopefully I piqued your interest and maybe you might want to go out and try one. I'm going to wrap this up now, and I will see you all next time, and take care.